modern technologies play an important role in our lives? Well, no doubt about that. But even today, discussions upon the role of technology in education continue to appear, even in the most modern and developed educational institutions. The question is, are these newfangled tablets and smartphones helping children learn, or is their only function to entertain? My question is edutainment the new education? And to answer that today on R Plus Talks, and I shall go ladies first, we have the iconic woman to feature, Archana Goenka, Academic Director of the widely acclaimed Goenka Group of Schools. A commerce graduate with a diploma in fashion designing, she later pursued a course in human resources, followed by a certificate course in personal counseling. With us also in this panel is our guest Sandeep Goenka, Chairman, Goenka Group of Schools. So, let's start with the questions. Being a veteran in the education industry, you have always endeavored to bring in a positive wave of transformation. That cliched statement that schools are dull and tedious is something that you've always wanted to move away from.
Yes, that's right, Behram, because we, all of us, are from schools of those times when we weren't allowed to really question the teacher, we weren't allowed to be playful, there was hardly any interaction, and it was only chalk and board. And so I have seen my own learning curve not really go up. And then when my daughter started going to school, and I realized that it's very important for allowing a child the space to question, be creative, be interactive. And that's when I got involved in the academic space at our school, we brought about a huge change in methodology and the way teaching would happen in class, and we introduced some amazing concepts. A couple of them are like classroom without walls. So once a week the children are actually engaged in the turf area where they're actually learning literature, or it could be the staircase where they're doing math. We actually use the whole school as a classroom, and we do a lot of activities, like we did the entire Silk Route, where the entire school space was used to actually route out the Silk Route for the students. So it's so exciting for them that they love learning, and then it's no more a thing that they are resisting. In fact, they love to learn in that manner.
Sandeep, schools are no more dull and tedious. That's obviously the buzzword for the Goenka Group of Schools.
Absolutely.
As a group, you've always been at the forefront in integrating technology with education. And my question is, how has technology actually affected the teaching learning pedagogy in the Goenka school?
In today's time, I think technology can't be left alone. You have to be in line with what the young ones want. If you take a small child, probably just the age of 6 and 7, and he'll probably teach you how to use your iPad or your tablet or your mobile phone. So the young one, the generation next, is far ahead of us in technology, and we need to integrate it within the school system. If you don't do that, I'm sorry, the children or the next generation will not be able to adapt or not able to understand what is in store for them in future. We introduced the smart classrooms in the year 2005-2006 itself, and it's very interesting to note, because it was very expensive at that time, at that age, we introduced it for our international curriculum, the IGCSE. But within 6 months, the ICSE students' parents also demanded that their classes be, and even these boards should come into their classes as well. Mm-hmm. And the PTA very strongly came up and said, no, Mr. Goenka, you need to do it even in this. And we were so happy that the interactivity in the classrooms was really helping the child, mm-hmm. and the other board students and the parents saw that, the difference in learning between the IGCSE board and the ICSE board. And actually, we are very pleased that since 2006, that's like 13 years from today, we've been putting the interactivity in the classrooms.
So, 13 years, 14 years since technology has been integrated into the learning process. So, you have shaped up, not shipped out. Archana, the academic director, trustee of all the Goenka group of schools, how do you manage to juggle your professional and your personal life? I mean, you are so influential in the top level decisions taking place at the Goenka group of schools, and yet you're managing both.
Yes. So, yes, I would say that it's challenging, but it's also very satisfying. I must thank everyone in the family and around me in supporting my decision to work full time, in fact. I must thank my daughter for being an independent child. So, you know, it gave me then the leeway to step out and be a part of the organization. It's a very satisfying time for me when I go out there and I can contribute towards other children. So she understands that space, and in fact now she's all grown up and she's all ready to enter the space with us. So it hasn't been very difficult, but I have managed to balance it pretty well. At times it gets difficult, but I've always enjoyed challenges, so I've enjoyed that process too.
Fantastic. And Sandeep, as the chairman of the Goenka group of schools, a massive body of work, leadership training, leadership essentials for education, teacher training, principals workshops, and that too across diverse curricula, diverse boards. Are there any specific features that define these diverse boards and diverse curricula?
Behram, we are lucky. We are a group of 11 schools, and you'll be shocked to know, but we have all the boards, right from SSC, the CBSC, the ICSC, the IGCSE, and latest we just started with our IB board as well. And believe me, all the boards are good. Then it's not that the IB is better than the IGCSE or the IGCSE is better than the other Indian boards. Each and every board has their own positives. And we, being in such a space that we can see all the positives and negatives of each board. So what we try and do is get the best practices across each and every board. So if there's something good of a particular board, we try and integrate it within the curriculum and the content of the other board. That's how I would say our students get advantage. They get the benefit of being in a group school which has experience across all boards.
So guys, take it from the horse's mouth, from people who have been there and done that across all boards. It's not that one board is better than the other. Archana, one of the most important benefits of technology in education, I guess as we all agree, is self-paced learning.
Yes.
Right? Self-paced learning. And somewhere we are seeing that technology is really helping to bridge the divide between the haves and the have-nots as far as education is concerned.
Yes. I will address the first part, what you said. It's self-paced learning. It is really helping a child to go back to a concept, not understanding. So when a teacher is teaching in the classroom physically, what happens is if she has to go back to concepts that a child doesn't understand, the entire class has to then go through the concept again, but maybe I have understood. So it doesn't help me, and then it kind of takes my focus away from that. When you're using technology, I can at my pace stop a certain video or a YouTube link, go back, come forward, and I can learn at my pace. So that's the amazing thing that technology has brought to the classroom and to an individual. Also, sometimes a child feels inhibited or shy to question in class in front of everyone for fear of being called dumb or other such words. So that is one. The other part is bridging between the have and have-nots, and I think that's really an amazing thing. Dr. Mitra, in fact, had the hole in the wall, which he tried out, which was a very, very successful experiment. And I think testimony to the question that you just put up to me, of bridging between the have and the have-nots. Also, remote areas where good teachers can't reach. When you have technology which you can use to record the best teachers in the subject, and you can actually stream it to these remote areas where maybe you don't have such qualified teachers or well-spoken teachers. So yes, I think technology has made the most positive impact on education, and we're all very happy to use it.
Wow. So technology is actually not just bridging the divide, but also giving you different strokes for different folks.
Absolutely. Yes.
Sandeep, you have been a firm proponent of the fact that across the globe, schools must share ideas, collaborate, and grow collectively. You've always been saying this.
It's very important. Sorry,
No, absolutely.
Okay. It's very important, Behram, that we need to collaborate and grow collectively. What happens if we stay in isolation and each one is trying to reinvent the wheel? It doesn't really work. It's not worth it, right? So what we actually do, it's maybe a little premature to say, but we are in talks with the US school for online schooling. That I would say they are already in existence, and they have about 20,000 students around the world. But the challenge they are facing is how to cater to a Chinese student or a Korean student or somebody in Singapore because of the time frame, because of the time gap between US and the Southeast Asia. So that's where we jump in as well. With our experience and knowledge, we are able to cater to zones which are more similar time zones, and that's one of the example I would like to give for
Collaboration.
Fantastic, for the collaboration that
Yes.
needs to happen.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm asking the next question to both of you, and this question is going to really put you in a hot spot. Yes. But then that's what Art Plus Talks is all about.
With
The
KBC
results.
around, hot seat is in vogue.
Yeah, the hot seat is absolutely perfectly. Of course, I am nowhere near the host there. But anyway, coming to this, students are now scoring 99%, and hold your breath, even 100%.
I know.
Across boards, state board, CBSE, ICSE, we have students who are scoring 100 on 100 in languages, literature, etc. My question to both of you, so either you can go ladies first or the chairman first.
I would say the ladies first.
Is this a healthy trend?
Obviously, it's not a healthy trend. I don't think any of us, as educationists or students, parents, all stakeholders, nobody will call this a healthy trend. But I think it's not about the schools only. I think the entire ecosystem, which involves a school child going from school to colleges, needs to look at it in a holistic way. And we all need to, including, I think, government organizations who kind of manage the education sector. So I don't want to go into that space, but I feel it will need to be deliberated and discussed upon a larger scale, where then colleges start looking at students in a more holistic manner, where then the race for marks stops at some point. When they are going to start looking at 99.1, 2, 3, obviously as schools we need to, because we need to ensure that the child gets into a good university or college. So we are then somewhere, I think it's a catch-22 for us. We need to sometimes do something because of the need, even if we don't believe in it or support it. But I need to ensure my child gets into a good college.
Fantastically said. Yeah. So Sandeep, the fact is that we need to see to it that even after you win the race, if it's a rat race, you're still a rat.
Absolutely right. And for me, I would say the marking system itself is incorrect. I would say the Western world also is into grades. Yeah. They block you across a certain numbers and they put a grade to it. So it doesn't come into 0.01, 0.02%. Okay. So that's very important. Like you said, you're yet a rat in that rat race. Even despite getting a 99, if you're not able to get into your preferred college, that's shameful.
Yeah. And ridiculous too.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
So it needs to come to a grading system. That's very important.
Yes.
Okay. Just coming back to this one thing, I'm asking this because the Goenka group of schools, as you said, are in a way pioneers as far as the introduction of technology into education is concerned. But today, despite its obvious benefits, we find that since all the stakeholders and Chairman Sir, this one is for you, of course, and of course for you to answer. Despite all the stakeholders, they want to always see a tangible return on the investment. I mean, there's nothing wrong in that. Yeah? But what I feel is that when schools have to make hard choices on how they budget their expenditure, too often the axe falls on technology.
As far as Goenka schools is concerned, I would say no.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely no.
That's one fantastic.
We are very clear, if it's going to help the learning of a child, that has to be privatized. And it's not the cost that comes in at that moment. And right now we feel technology is the in thing, it has to come. Not just because of the marketing aspect, but because of the true learning and the equipments, the gadgets, the next generation is able to handle much better than what we can, and that's the way forward. They need to learn on those. They can't be left behind. What we are looking for is 20 years hence. We are in 2019 and we're looking for 2030 or 2040. And that's the time when you realize how important it is for them to be abreast with the latest technology. So despite it really going to affect our pocket, but that's the last thing we would ask. The first thing we get in is technology, and the other things would follow.
So I'd like to add to that and say that a couple of years back, we got a reading program, which was a tech-based reading program and addressed differentiated reading levels within a class. So like a grade 3, all the children are not going to read at the grade 3 level. I might be at grade 7 level and another one lower. So we got that, and even though the parents weren't willing to pay for it because it was somewhere midterm, we introduced it at our own cost because we believed that it would help every child. So when we say at our group schools, we don't do it, I'm just putting down evidence that we really don't do that.
Wow. So, friends, the chairman and the academic director of the Goenka group of schools telling us that technology is a must. Futuristic thinking is what they come with.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for being with us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bharam.
Thank you.